بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كلية إمام الكاظم أقسام الديوانية قسم اللغة الإنجليزية تدريس محمد ياسين. Today we're gonna talk about factors that are central to teacher self-development. What are the factors that make teacher what? Good. That the teacher can develop himself. We mean by self-development, it means that the teacher can develop himself. Okay? So we will talk about them one by one and some details. First, there is no doubt that development takes time. Of course, when we want to develop ourselves, we as teachers, if we want to develop ourselves, we need time to develop ourselves. Okay? We need time. It is not by day, by night, everything can come. No, everything can come, but by time. It takes time to observe interaction in our own classrooms and to visit other teachers' classes, you see, as well as to write it in a journal and to talk to others about teaching. What is important about time is what? Pre-service teachers. We have pre-service teachers and we have in-service teachers, okay, or pre-service programs and in-service programs. What is the difference between them? We'll see. Pre-service teachers, from this pre, it means before. This is prefix, okay. Pre-service teachers have advantage in that the time factor is built into the teacher education program, okay. In other words, it means that pre-service teachers, it means that you already studied, like you, now you have this program. You have this program. Pre-service teachers. Yeah, it means that before you become a teacher, you go and study. You attend a program, an English program, for example, and you study. This is what we mean by pre-service teachers. And also we have teachers in service programs. What does it mean? It means those working independently on their development have less time, okay, who have not attended this program. Like if you remember, Yushi doesn't have program. Like sometimes when some people who just speak English, who just visited United States for certain years, so they have English language. So when they come here and they want, for example, to teach English or to train the trainees, train people, those learners who want to learn English, they don't have pre-service teachers. They are in service. Of course, they have less time because they haven't studied English language in details. They haven't studied this book, ELT. Nonetheless, teachers who believe that development is important need to make a commitment to devote time to their development. So you as a teacher have to to have time, to create time for you in order to develop yourself. You have to have time to do everything, to make time for you, to arrange your time, make organization for your time, to arrange everything, what to do, how can I develop my methods of teaching myself, okay. In addition, for teachers who are in the first few years, like you, for example, when you graduate from school and you go to school, who are in the first years of their teaching career means a job, time is needed. You need time to work through stages in their development. You see, you need time. Kathy, for example, if you remember Kathy, apparently allowed herself to work through these stages. Okay, she wasn't always confident or able to create and recreate relevant, interesting lessons for the students. The developmental stages of a teacher include going from being dependent on outside sources such as supervisors and the textbook and concern with self-survival. what do I do tomorrow in class, and with what kinds of teaching or techniques to use. You see, you should leave this state of dependency. You should not depend on others or the book. You should You should have this self-survival. What do I do tomorrow in class, and with what kind of techniques to use to be concerned with the student's learning and able to make informed teaching decisions. This is very important. You as teacher, you have to make informed teaching decisions. You have to make decisions. You have to decide what kind of method, what kind of way, the best way. Of course, you have certain ways that you can follow inside the classroom. So you have to decide what are the ways, the methods that you can follow inside the class, what are the best that make your students understand and learn to learn, for example, learn English, learn how to use, for example, if you are teaching certain for certain purposes, for certain reasons, for example, how to use grammar, how to pronounce well. It depends on each teacher's ways. Okay, so this is concerning time. Second, development requires what? Development requires an ongoing commitment, ongoing continuous commitment. Okay, so development teaching is not something to do only in a teacher education program or at the beginning of a teaching career. Rather, even the most experienced teacher can learn new things about teaching. You see, learning does not stop. This is very important. Learning, does not stop. Some people, or let us be frank and serious and talk about Iraq. Many teachers, many students when they graduate from schools and become teachers, when they teach at the school, they think that everything is enough. They will not study. They will not learn. Oh, now we are teachers, so I know everything. No, even the most experienced teacher can learn new things about teaching, because life is changing, so everything is changing. Methods, ways of teaching, the approaches are all changing. So we need to learn. We need to continue learning every day. And development is enhanced when the teacher makes a commitment to ongoing development. For example, although many would call Kathy's teaching skills developed, we talked about Kathy, and if you look at Kathy, they are developed, they are good. She continues to think about her teaching. If you remember, Kathy continues to think about her teaching and its consequences on students, especially about creating a more learner-centered classroom that engages students in learning to be communicatively competent in English. This is very important. So you as teacher, when you become teacher, when you go to school, this doesn't mean that you have to stop. You have to stop learning. No, you need to to follow ongoing commitment, because you can learn everything. New ideas, fresh ideas. When you go to school, you will have new methods, new ways. Okay, you will discover many things. Life is changing, so everything is changing. Third, development is enhanced through problem solving. This is very important. Problem solving. When teachers recognize the problems, sometimes inside the classroom, when you know that there is a problem, when you recognize problem, dilemma, and work at solving them, they can discover new ways to teach and discover more about their role as a teacher. Okay, so your role as a teacher, you have to know, and you have to be aware of this, that your role as a teacher is very important. Sometimes when teaching, you will find what problems, how to solve these problems, how to deal with these problems. This is very important. Here we have example, Kathy's exploration into getting the class started quickly. Remember, Kathy has a problem how to start a class. And so she raced to class quickly, and her interest in getting students to use more English in class. Okay. Also, she wants her students to use English, indicate that she continues to generate ways to solve perceived problems in her teaching. Okay. So she wants to create. She creates new ways in order to solve these problems. So you as a teacher, you should know your role. You should know that you have responsibility when having problem, and how to solve these problems, how to deal with these problems. Fourth, development is also enhanced through exploration for exploration's sake. What does it mean, this? Exploration for exploration's sake. Teachers can indeed discover much. We as teachers can discover much by exploring, simply to explore, not just to solve a problem. Okay? Not only we solve a problem, but just we explore, we discover. Such exploration can be based on a pure interest. For what? Can be based on pure interest. For example, trying an approach that is the opposite of one you love. Okay? What does it mean, this? Exploration for exploration's sake. Sometimes you have certain ways. Okay? You follow one way, but you feel that this way is not applicable for students. So you decide to use the opposite. The opposite, or what? The opposite one, to see what happens. So you try to explore, or trying to use a new approach or technique, simply because it sounds interesting. So it seems interesting for you. Okay, let me try this way. Okay, I have to try this way, this method. How can I make my students speak English? So, for example, Kathy, she raced to the class and she wrote certain things on the whiteboard, and she tells her students to use English when they want to speak or communicate or discuss these ideas. So here, you use another way. Sometimes, for example, with Yushi, when he always paraphrases. So you can say no, instead of I the speaker, I the teacher. Instead of paraphrasing, I will ask the students to paraphrase. So here I use something different to see what happened, whether it is applicable or not, whether it is good or not. Fifth, development is enhanced by paying attention and reviewing the basics of ESL teaching. This book, simply this book. So you have to pay attention and review the basics, the rules of ESL, TESOL teaching. So you have to pay attention to this book. Every one of you as teachers, you have to have this book. You have to have a book which is called Teaching English as a Second Language. Okay, this is very important. This book tells you how to teach English inside the classroom, how to deal with the problems that you can face inside the classroom. Although Kathy's introduction to the basics began during her Peace Corps training, so she has this course. Okay, she has continued. She never stops. She has continued to study ways to create opportunities for students, to create chances for students to interact in English, ways to manage classroom behavior and materials and media used to teach EFL. In addition, she undoubtedly considered ways to teach different skills, such as reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You see? So you have to pay attention. So you have to study this book. You have to have this book in order to know how to teach grammar, how to teach reading, how to teach listening, how to teach speaking. Okay, grammar writing here. Okay, this is very important. So you have to pay attention to the basics. You have to pay attention to this, very important. You have to focus on this book, which is Teaching English as a Second Language. All of you need this book, which is Teaching English as a Second Language. Sixth, development is enhanced by searching out opportunities to develop. So you have to search out opportunities, chances to develop. It turns out that Kathy talks with other teachers. So you need to talk with other teachers about teaching. You need to read about teaching. You need to talk. You need to read. You need to attend teaching seminars, workshops. سيمينارات يعني جلسات حوارية. Okay? Workshops يعني ندوات, ورش عمل. And she participates in other activities. She participates. You have to participate. That give her chances to reflect on her teaching and see new teaching possibilities and see new methods, new ways. Okay, this is very important. In other words, when we as teachers teach lessons in different settings, read about teaching, observe our own and other teaching, write about teaching, you have to write about teaching, and talk about teaching issues and problems, we are provided with opportunities to raise new questions about our teaching. This is very important. We as teachers, we have to talk with each other, we have to attend seminars, we have to talk about teaching, we have to share ideas and issues, talk about the problems, order to find the solutions. What is, for example, what is found in other teachers' class room may be found in your class. So this is very important, how to deal with this problem. The more activities we experience related to teaching, and the more questions and answers we can come up with through this ongoing process, the more chances we have to develop our teaching beliefs and practices. Okay, the more يعني كلما كانت الactivities هواية related to teaching, the more questions and answers we can come up with through this ongoing process, the more chances we have to develop our teaching. Seventh, the last, self-development of teaching and practices requires the cooperation of others. This is very important. We need cooperation. It is not you who can do everything. You need cooperation between you and teachers, between you and the manager, the boss, okay? The Minister of Education is very important, not only teachers. It takes others who are willing to observe us, listen to us, okay? Your boss, you should listen to you, for example, talk with us about our teaching. We need administrators, students, other teachers and friends to help us succeed with our development. In order to develop yourself, develop your methods of teaching, you need to talk to everyone. Without their cooperation, self-development is very difficult. Okay, you need this cooperation. Without them, it is very difficult, as there is neither any source for feedback. You need feedback from others. You need feedback from your teachers, from your classmates. Colleagues, because you are teachers. Okay, you need feedback from your friends. Okay, this is very important. So we finish with these points that are the factors that can make self-development. Okay, that the teacher can develop himself. If you have any question, you can ask. Thank you so much.